Hey guys, and welcome back to the Mark series. My name is Katie, and this is Mark chapter 7. Today I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between Mark chapter 7 and Matthew chapter 15, because this is going to be a passage that is not often taught, and I want to give you a clear, round picture of what is going on in this passage. So first, Mark chapter 7. Jesus enters the region of Tyre and Sidon. Jesus wants to go into a house with only his disciples and remain hidden, because often Jesus is surrounded by many multitudes, lots of crowds. So this time he wants to just be surrounded by his disciples. And so he goes into a house and wants to remain hidden. But he doesn't remain hidden for very long, because a woman comes and finds Jesus. This woman heard about Jesus because she has a problem. This woman has a young daughter who is demon-possessed. And she knows that Jesus is the answer to her problem. So she hears about Jesus, and she goes into the house, and she falls down at the feet of Jesus. A little bit about this woman. She is a Greek. She is a non-Jew. She is a Syrian from Phoenicia. She is at the feet of Jesus. And this is her cry. Matthew chapter 15, it tells us this. "Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David, for my daughter is severely demon-possessed." Jesus answered her not a word. The disciples urged Jesus, "Send her away, for she keeps crying out after us." And Jesus says, "I was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." In other words, this woman is a non-Jew. I was sent to the Jews, to God's people first. This woman is desperate. She's not going to give up very easily. She has nowhere else to go. She has no one else to turn to. She is desperate. She is at the feet of Jesus. She worships him and says simply, "Lord, help me. Lord, help me." Flipping back over to Mark chapter 7, Jesus says, "Let the children be fed first. For it is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs." Let the children be fed first. What does that mean? Jesus has just said that he has come only to the house of Israel, to the Jews, to God's chosen people first. First, let the children be fed. It's not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs. In other words, God has a plan for both the Jews and the non-Jews, for the Jewish people and the Gentiles. I am not a Jew, therefore I'm a Gentile. Most of you out there are Gentiles, you are non-Jews. And God is including us in his plan of salvation and his promise and blessing. But first, he came to the Jews. This woman understands what Jesus is saying. And she says, "Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord." She's not angry. She is not prideful. She is desperate. "Yes, Lord." Yet, even the little dogs eat the crumbs underneath the table. Picture a little dog, desperate for food, crawling under the table to find a crumb of food. She is saying, "Yes, Lord." Yet, even the little dogs that go under the table searching for a crumb of food. That's what I want. That's what I want, Jesus. I just want a piece of you, Jesus. A crumb of Jesus will do. Because when you are desperate and you have nowhere else to go, and you have no one else to turn to, a crumb of Jesus sounds pretty good. A crumb of Jesus sounds pretty good. And Jesus says, because of this saying, go your way. Your daughter is healed. She goes home, and she finds the demon gone, and her daughter lying on the bed. I love what it says in Matthew chapter 15. "Oh, woman, great is your faith. Great is your faith. Oh, woman, great is your faith. It will be as you desire. I love that. It will be as you desire. And at that hour, her daughter was healed. And so you see, this woman was desperate for Jesus. And thinking back to the other characters in this story, because we have Jesus and we have this woman who has a problem, but we also have the disciples. And maybe the disciples need to learn a lesson here that you need to be a little bit more desperate for Jesus. This woman on her knees begging Jesus to cast out the demon in her daughter. And Jesus is able to heal right then and there. He doesn't even go with her to the house. He's able to heal right then and there. Long distance healing. It's pretty cool. The disciples, meanwhile, are like, send her away. She keeps crying out after us. No, she's not crying out after you, disciples. She's crying out after Jesus. Just a crumb of Jesus will do. I want to read to you a passage from Romans 1. Because in this passage, it shows us, just like Jesus said, when he said, I have come to the house of Israel. Or when he said, let the little children be fed first. Because we're talking about how this woman was a non-Jew. And how Jesus says, yes, I am coming for the Gentiles, but first I am coming for the Jews. And so this passage makes it all more clear. In Romans 1, verse 16, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. For it is the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes, for the Jew first, and also for the Greek. This woman was Greek. She was a non-Jew. Jesus came for her too. Jesus was testing her faith. She showed how desperate she was for Jesus. Just a crumb. I know that your blessing and everything is going to the Jews first. I'm not asking for that. I'm not asking for much. I just want a piece of it. How desperate are you for Jesus? Because when you fill yourself up with other things, you are not desperate. Don't let him have to tear away at those things, like pride. But come before Jesus, desperate. My name is Katie. This is the Mark series. This is Mark chapter 7.